So anyway, thank you so much to everybody who donated to the bid war to get this to get this game funded. This is Demon's Crest, the last of the 3 Gargoyles Quest games. You guys voted with your dollars, and it was the clear winner. Not many people. I think one person wanted to see Gargoyles Quest 2, and nobody was interested in the original. So I'm glad you guys chose this one. I love all 3 games, but this one is probably my favorite. And this opening title screen is one of my favorites in all of video games, like the fire and the music. It's so good. But anyway, for the moment, it's just going to be me. We are hoping that MBM can join us eventually. So we will see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, so this is Demon's Crest. I will say that I am going to go for the good ending. The best ending, I guess I should say. But here's also the thing about Demon's Crest. This game actually has a super boss. Once you beat the game, you're given a once you beat the game 100%, you're given a password, which takes you to an alternate boss fight, a final boss fight, if you will. I really want to fight that. I want to show off that boss fight because it's really cool, but it's also really hard. So what we're going to do about that at the moment is, right now, we have raised $11,235. Unfortunately, I will not be able to check the donations as frequently, because it is just me at the moment. But I issue a challenge to everybody in the chat.
Hi, Ted.
Oh, hi. Hi, Steven.
You need some help with donations?
Sure. Yeah,
Where did we leave off?
Where do we leave? Oh, we haven't gotten any new donations, but I was going to issue a challenge to the chat. This game actually has a super boss, so if we can make it up to 11k 500, I will fight that super boss at the end of the game if we can make it that far. So if you want to see me lose to that guy a whole bunch because he's not easy, you should donate bunches. Yeah, lots and lots of money. But yeah,
You guys got a lot. Go on.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, this is one of my favorite SNES games just ever. I love Gargoyles Quest. It's one of the, I think it's a severely underrated game. I think a lot of the people in the chat probably aren't super familiar with it. Imagine Mega Man X but with demons, and that's basically what you've got here. So I know lots of people like Mega Man X, and you should like demons because they're awesome. So you should also like 20-minute long intro sequences. It's not 20 minutes, but it is like 8. So, yeah.
You said underrated. I would say under advertised. I didn't even know about this series.
Yeah, no, it's. I can't blame you for that because it really wasn't advertised at all. This is actually a spin-off of the Ghosts and Goblins series. Where you play as the annoying little red devils that always killed you. The Red Armor. To be fair, I didn't know that this series existed either, until they brought back Firebrand for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A lot of people were thinking, like, why did they bring back this random Ghosts and Goblins enemy for Marvel vs. Capcom 3? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then you look up the character a little bit and you realize, no, he didn't just have his own game, he had 3. He had 3 different games, and all of them are very, very good. The original on Game Boy is actually kind of interesting. It has a lot of RPG elements, and the second one on NES is also very similar to that, although there are some small changes. This is probably the most polished of the 3 games. It really tries to push the Super Nintendo. Unfortunately, that does mean that there is a lot of slowdown in this game, but the sprite work is beautiful. As well, so I feel like, you know, the ambition is really well appreciated.
Yeah, I remember when I was making that trailer with Stefan, and we had to get all the game footage of every single game we were gonna do. I had to download because I'm not gonna play the game and capture the footage. I had to go download someone else's YouTube videos for this game, and I was just watching the first level, was like, holy crap, this looks pretty good for a SNES game.
Yeah, it was relatively early too. Well, okay, no, 94 is like midway SNES game, but still, the only thing about it is that once you get to especially certain boss fights, the game lags like nuts. Not to ever to the point where it's unplayable, but it's still very noticeable. And also, being an SNES game, loves to use that Mode 7 graphics. Them fancy circles and rotations and all that. So, okay, we should be... Okay, we don't need to see... The intro's over, so now we can actually play the game.
Hey, guys, I just want to drop in there. Steven, can you take a look at the Discord chat when you get the chance?
Yeah. Which part?
The @ here's that I left you. That's all I want to say.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Go back to bed, John. Okay, good. He listened to me. I'm glad. Okay. So anyway, yeah, this is the first boss. He is very, very easy. He's a zombie dragon. Fun fact, this is actually the dragon that we had killed in the intro, but just zombified now. In case you weren't paying attention, because I certainly wasn't, Firebrand had previously collected all of the magical demon crests that give you, like, infinite demon power or whatever. But what he was getting the last one, which he got from this dragon, he was weakened, and so the demon Phalanx was able to snipe him, basically, and yank them all from him, except for a broken piece of the Fire Crest. So, Firebrand's kind of pissed now, and we're basically just going to go on a demonic rampage and get all that stuff back. So, not a lot of plot in this game. There's a lot more... Not that these games ever have really deep plots, but the first two do try to have a lot of world-building elements to them, where, you know, you're trying to find out who this legendary gargoyle is so that you can stop the... the evil... Oh god, I forget his name. There's a demon that's... Brieger, that's his name. There's a demon that's trying to take over the world, and... well, the ghoul realm is more specifically. And so, the only one that can defeat him is this legendary gargoyle. And you find out throughout the course of the games that you are the legendary gargoyle, or a reincarnation thereof. And so, it's your job to go and fix things. The translations are always really, really bad, though, and really, really funny. Particularly in the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Ghosts and Gargoyles quests. There's such fantastic lines like "You're short of vials." Although one of my favorite lines in video games is in the ending to the original Gargoyles quest, where once you beat the game, there's the line that the Ghoul Realm was safe? Question mark once more. And yeah, these games just have so much charm and character put into them. And also, the sprite work, like, I mean, I know I already brought this up, but damn, it's just so good. Anyway, this is the Griffin. I hope you like this boss, because we fight it 3 times. I think there's 3 bosses in this game we fight multiple times. This is one of them. He's the only one we fight 3 times. Oh, wait, no, Arma. We fight Arma 3 times. So there's 2 bosses in this game we fight 3 times, and there's 2 bosses we fight twice. So, I hope you guys like reused bosses. They're not that hard, thankfully, but, well, Arma can be tough, but we'll be seeing him at the end of this level, so. For the most part, I would say that this is, I'd say, easier than the original Gargoyles quest. I don't know if I'd say it's easier than Gargoyles Quest 2. That's the one I have the least amount of experience playing. Gargoyles Quest 2 isn't really all that hard. There are some things in this game that can be pretty tricky, though. Especially the final boss and the Dark Demon, which is the super boss that I mentioned. Those guys can be pretty tough, so... but most of the platforming isn't really all that bad in this game. Gargoyles Quest 1 probably had the hardest stages, I have to imagine. I also think it had... this game also has great music. They really try to go for, like, an organ sort of theme, I guess, to fit with the whole demon thing. It mostly works. My favorite theme is the credits theme, although if you're familiar with this game's soundtrack, the credits theme is actually a remix of this first opening level theme. Anyway, down here, this is a vial. Think of it like a sub-tank from Mega Man X. However, in order to fill it, we actually have to buy a potion from the town, which we will be able to explore after this level. I will not be using potions very much. Also, earlier in the stage, I found one of these parchments. You can buy spells in this game as well, and they do various things. The problem is that they're all useless, so I'm not going to be using any of them. So yeah, you can expect me to not go really for any of those. This game will, I'm not good at this game, but I know what I'm doing. I can pretty reliably finish the game in under 2 hours, so this shouldn't go too far over estimate, unless if we do reach 11,500, in which case I will fight the Dark Demon, and we will probably be here till 1 in the morning, so that'll be fun. Anyway, this is Arma. I've watched your progress, and I'm glad that I shall be the one to put an end to your petty crusade. I believe you have heard of me. I am Arma. No, I haven't. I will be your executioner. He's like trying to be vile or whatever, but he's not that cool, so yeah. His boss fights are pretty tough, though. Especially the first time I played the game, I died to Arma 1 quite a number of times, and his third boss fight in particular is no joke. Especially if you don't know the correct... Well, there's no really correct path. I'll explain that once we get to the world map. But there are certain routes throughout the game that can make Armor 3 a lot easier. But he's basically intended to be our Proto-Man, our Vile. He's the recurring boss that shows up throughout the game. He's got a little, like, recognizable laugh and whatnot. This first fight is pretty tame, though. All he can do is fly around and shoot laser beams. But if he doesn't want to come down, I can't really do much to him. The way this game controls, you move, you jump, you shoot fireballs. If you press the jump button while in the air, you can glide. Now, you can't gain altitude in this form. You can only maintain your horizontal altitude. But you can, however, climb and latch onto walls. So, if you don't have a wall at the moment, you can't gain altitude, which can make and that can make it a little annoying when Arma decides that he wants to hang in the air for forever. You do seem to possess the people I've been talking about. I look forward to our next encounter. Even though you could kill me right now, you're just going to run away and leave behind the Earth Crest. Thanks, man. You have found the Crest of Earth. So now we get into what is the big gimmick about this game that separates it from the other Gargoyles Quest games, and that's the Crest system. I'll explain that in just a moment. Anyway, this is the world map. At the moment, we've got 3 stages that we can go to. We just beat the first stage. Stage 2 has the town in it. Stage 3, so we're going to be heading that way first. You can, however, do these stages in any order you want. And each stage actually has multiple paths. So, this game has a lot of exploration value to it. Anyway, I'm going to take a moment just to check for donations.
Oh, Ted, I'll check that for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so in the meantime, we're just going to be exploring the town. You can bang your head on these windows and sometimes money comes out. We're not going to be using our money until near the end of the game, but it is important to have it because that's the only way to get what are essentially are the E-tanks. So I am keeping tabs on how much money I am earning throughout the entire game. So yeah.
Well, we have a $5 donation from Aura, who says, "Hey, Ted, congrats on the victory in the Shovel Knight race. Looking forward to Catherine's Spyro 3 run. Would like to ask you a question. What is your favorite battle theme from Bravely Default, and why is it Wicked Flight?"
Oh, ooh. Wicked Flight's awesome. But I have to... that's probably my favorite out of the main game battle themes, but my favorite overall battle theme has to be the ball battle theme. Which name is, like, in some... The name for it, I've not been able to find a proper translation. It's like Eepson, Noopson, something like that. It's supposed to be... I don't even know what language it's supposed to be, but... The ball battle theme is one of my favorite battle themes. It's like 4 minutes long, and it's basically nuts. The time signature changes, like, every 3 seconds. It's fantastic. No, I actually didn't want to go this way. Oh, no! Crap. Okay. we're gonna need to start this. We're gonna need to die because I actually got knocked into a path I'm not supposed to be in at the moment. We were supposed to... Let me get killed, and then I can explain what's going on. These games have... This area has multiple... Every stage has multiple paths, and there's also a different boss at the end of each path, and you unlock different things for beating specific bosses in this game. So, the route I'm taking is very... particular. It's intended to get me through the game as quickly as possible. I guess while I'm backtracking, I can explain the Crest system. So since we beat Arma 1, we got the Earth Crest. What the Earth Crest does is, every time we get a new crest, we unlock a new transformation. The Earth Crest allows us to be the ground gargoyle, which gives us this dash move instead of the headbutt move we had as regular Firebrand. This can be used to not only travel faster, but if we get to one of these things, it can also bump and break certain objects. So, if you've played Shantae, which Ryan just actually played earlier in the game, it's very similar to the transformation abilities that you would see in that game. Each transformation has its ups and downs. For example, the ground gargoyle can't hover at all because he doesn't have wings. And also his fire breath is different. If you're standing, it does this thing that goes towards the ground instead of going straight. You get a straight shot if you jump, but it doesn't go as far. So you have to keep in mind what transformation you need to use for any given section in this game. And as you get more transformations, you're encouraged to backtrack to earlier levels and find hidden collectibles you haven't seen before. So it's the easiest comparison is Mega Man X, but there's also a lot of Metroidvania elements in there as well. So if you like those kinds of games, I think you might find something to enjoy with this as well. Unfortunately, it does mean you will have to go into the menu to change your crest a lot, but you get used to that after a while. The one thing you do that is a little bit hard to get used to, though, is that the button to confirm in menus and dialogue is not actually like the A button or even the B button, it's the Y button, which I have never seen be the confirm button in any other game in my life. So that's a little strange. It takes a little bit of getting used to. The first time I played the game, I didn't know how to advance the dialogue with Arma, so I was just standing there really, really confused. But it's the Y button. Once you figure that out, though, it's really not all that bad. I believe this is technically supposed to be the hidden path for this area, because you need to use the ground gargoyle in order to find it, but it's relatively easy to find. You're likely to at least try to mess around with the ground gargoyle's abilities when you enter the level, so it's not too hard to find this place. We will have to come back here, though, because it is somewhat Mega Man X / Metroidvania styled. That does unfortunately mean that there is a decent amount of backtracking, but I don't usually mind that in games, so it's not ever really a problem for me. If you route it right, there's very few instances where you need to go back to a level and just to get like one thing. There's only 2 times I can remember it, and it's in this area and going back to the first level of the game, which we'll actually be doing right after we fight this boss right here. This is where you're really going to notice that lag I was talking about, because all of those eyeballs in that pile of jello are their own sprite. And so once these rocks start breaking, there's going to be a lot of lag. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, ow. Okay, so going for that health was a waste of time. Also, I'm gonna get... Come on, come on, come on. Am I gonna die? Oh, yep, I died. Okay, I died going for health. That's fun. This boss gave me a lot of trouble the first time I played, because this was the first boss I tried to fight. And I didn't know a couple of tricks that make it significantly easier. But once you do know, it's not really all that bad. Let me actually get the chat up so that I can... Ted is dead ×2. Yep, I'm probably going to die a good amount in this game. I'm not gonna... There's no one part that should give me too much trouble other than the Dark Demon. But we'll be getting to that when we get to that. So anyway, the thing about this boss is that you have to destroy its eyeballs, destroy the small eyeballs, and then you will be able to make the big eyeball come out, and that's your main target. The eyeballs they change in color as you do damage to them. They're at full health when they're pure white. When they're slightly red, they've taken 1 point of damage, and when they're at that dark red, that means that they've taken 2 points of damage. The problem is that the fireball attack that you have to start will always do 2 points of damage, but the ground gargoyles standing attack will do 2 points. I didn't know that when I first played the game, and this makes this boss a lot easier, because you can being able to take down some of these guys' health a little bit quicker just does so much to increasing your survivability. Thankfully, these eyeballs will sometimes drop health, which is a godsend, especially if you're like. Right now, I'm probably gonna die once the big eyeball comes out, because I've only got 3 hits. And the easiest way to beat him quickly is to just spam these attacks in kind of a war of attrition manner. Yeah, I'm probably dead. But notice that he shot that spit out of his eyeball, and that's gross. More like a demon send. Sure. Sure thing, Crownified. The NES game is a little bit easier than the... No. I'd say if you're trying to go for the... if you're trying to just go for the final boss, I would say that the NES game is a little bit harder than this, but if you're counting the super boss, I would say that this game is harder. The super boss in this game has often taken me multiple attempts, even when I... use all of my health ups. So yeah, if we get to $1,500 by the time I beat the final boss, I will fight the Dark Demon. He's not easy, and it'll probably take me a while.
How long would you say this game is, Ted?
On a first run, it'll probably take you a good 6 hours, I would say. Because if you're trying to go for the best ending, the 100% ending, it would probably take you 6 hours on a first run. That's how long it took me. If you know what you're doing, it'll take you under 2. My practice run of this was an hour and 45 minutes. So, and I think speed runs are like 45, if I remember correctly. There are multiple endings in this game. You could theoretically beat the game. You can go to the final level as early as like beating just one pathway in the first 4 stages. So you could theoretically beat the game in like a half hour. But you don't get all the forms of the final boss if you do that. You only get some of them, and the ending's kind of lame. So, I was like 1 hit away from getting him. Okay. This is probably going to be the boss that gives me the most trouble, I would have to imagine, because at this point I have the least amount of... I have not that much health. As we explore the areas, we're going to get more health. And so later bosses that are actually tougher than this one are going to take me less tries, because I'll have more hit points and more defense and other things that'll make them significantly easier. These games are pretty... If you are interested in playing these games, they aren't that hard to get a hold of anymore. If you have a 3DS, you can get the first 2 games on... You can get the first 2 games on that right now through the Virtual Console. And if you have a new 3DS, you can also get Demon's Crest on that. I believe Demon's Crest is also on the Wii U. That's how I'm playing it. That's how I'm playing it right now. Actually, is the Wii U version. If you want a physical copy, though, it's a little bit harder. The physical copies are pretty expensive. Particularly Demon's Crest is a pretty rare game, so it'll be hard to get a copy physically, unfortunately. But they're thankfully now you can play all 3 games on a 3DS. So if you're like me, you'll have all 3 games on the go, and that just makes me really, really happy.
So we got a donation from King Jackal.
Oh, awesome!
25 bucks.
Thank you.
Glad I could catch some more Platformania. Put this $25 towards killing Gareth in The Sims. Benji needs to become a superhero, and the first step is the tragic death of a parent.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, burn Gareth. I don't want to be the first to die, please. Also, during the Shovel Knight race, somebody donated for Nathan to burn. Is that an option?
It wasn't an option.
It wasn't.
But okay, so in The Sims, you can have a family, and a family can only have 8 people in it.
Oh, okay.
So adding another person would be difficult, but maybe we could make Nathan a neighbor.
Ooh, okay.
And we could just invite him over and kill him.
Hey guys, what you do? Oh God, why? I'm guessing I'm still winning by like $100 on the Sims Firebox right now, right?
You have you have 140, and Gareth is in second with 100.
Oh, okay. So I'm not as far behind. I'm not as far ahead as I thought I was. Guys, either burn Gareth or make him play episode 1, which would probably cause him to burn anyway. So, yeah.
Well, technically, I guess Nathan and Gareth are tied for second right now with 100 each.
Oh yeah, somebody donated all 100 to Nathan. I forgot about that. Thank you everybody for your donations. I should stress that, I did not think we would reach our initial 10K goal within the first 3 days. That we did that is nuts to me, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. We've been planning this marathon for about a year. Almost a year. Pretty much almost immediately after Fund the Charity Room, we started planning Platformania, and so we put a lot of time and work into it, and I'm really glad you guys are all enjoying it. Anyway, the ability that we unlock for beating the last boss, whose name is I think Uvunu, is the blockbuster ability, and it allows us to break these certain types of blocks. And we needed to go back to the first level just to get that 1 health up that we couldn't get without the blockbuster. So that was fun. This is probably the fire breath ability I'm going to be using the most often. Unlike the original Demon's Crest, Demon's Crest had a lot of these fire breath ability. I'm sorry, the original Gargoyles Quest and Gargoyles Quest 2 had a lot of these fire breath abilities, but unfortunately, most of them are not as useful in this game because the Crest abilities are so good. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but the star of the show are the Crest transformations because you can do so much cool stuff. We'll be getting another one relatively soon, if I remember. Oh, you fell on the... I didn't even know that little stick was a landable platform. Huh, okay. Cool. So there's a lot of stuff in this game that you aren't intended to get at a certain point, but I'm going to be getting anyway because I don't feel like backtracking. For example, this bottle. Oh no, how am I supposed to get it? You take damage and then you wall jump up the spikes is how you get it. No, you don't try to get it with the air gargoyle because that takes too long. So we're not bothering. Yeah, there's also, I believe, stuff hidden down here that we need the sea gargoyle to do, but that's actually going to be like the last thing we get in this game is the stuff regarding the sea gargoyle. We are actually going to get the legendary... You're supposed to get the crests... Oh, I'm going to die. You're supposed to get the crests in the order ground, air, sea, then legendary. I am going to be getting the sea crest after the legendary crest because you need the sea crest for like one part of this game, and it's... Yeah, and many of the things that we would want to use the sea crest for, we're just going to cheese with the legendary skin because it is just so good. But we're not going to be getting that for a while, so we're not going to worry about that at the moment. Yeah. This is probably one of the harder bosses coming up after this room. This is actually not one of the harder rooms in the game, too, although there's something special about this room that I will bring up in a moment, so we're going to... I'll show you that in a moment. Shadow Steven in the chat asks whether I'd play this or Mega Man X. Personally, I like this a little bit better. Mega Man X is certainly a more polished game. I can't deny that. But I like the aesthetics of this more. It's certainly a much more unique game. I like the kind of, I feel like the collectibles it's more reasonable to collect all of the stuff in this game than in Mega Man X, because the way the stuff is hidden in the original Mega Man X, there's no way you would know to find some of that stuff on a first playthrough. Like, like, oh, you have to jump off this thing in Storm Eagle's stage in this specific way in order to find this heart tank that's off screen. I mean, granted, I know that people have been playing this game for years, and so all that's known already, but if you're on a first playthrough, it can be a little bit hard to find that stuff. I can understand why somebody would like Mega Man X more than this, but I personally prefer this. Anyway, this right here is a talisman. What these do is these gives us certain special effects if we have them equipped, and we can only have one equipped at a time. This is the Skull Talisman, so what it does is it makes health drops more common from enemies. So, since we have no other talismans, there's no reason to not equip that. So I'm just going to leave that on for a moment. Oh no, guys, I totally forgot the health that was before this boss fight. Oh no, I cannot beat him. Oh no, I'm going to die. Oh no, oh no. How can I ever... Nope, I died. That death was intentional, as if my bad joke didn't already make that clear. So, what happens... so how this game works is that you're intended to beat the boss. This is probably the most obtuse collectible in the game. I don't know why they decided to do it this way, but... I think when you're intended to beat the boss, and that makes all the burning trees go away. But if you die to the boss, the burning trees also go away. So you can just go and collect the hidden health power-up by dying to the boss instead of having to come back to this level at a later point. So we're going to be doing it that way. That's probably my least favorite pickup in the game. It's the easiest one to forget. There's really no indication that there would be an item hidden in the trees, or even that the trees would go away once you beat the boss. So that's I know I was just talking about Mega Man X being obtuse. That's pretty obtuse. It's my least. That's, I think, the worst hidden thing in the game. Thankfully, the rest of them are more reasonable to find. They're not something that you would have no chance of finding like that one. Anyway, this guy's name is very creatively named the Flame Lord. He might give me some trouble. He tends to, because if you touch his body directly, he does 2 dots of damage, which is a lot for this point of the game. You know, when we've got less than 10 hit points total. Like, ow. See, and your invincibility frames are not as long as in other games. And the way to do the most damage to him is using the ground gargoyles standing shot, which, as you can see, travels along the ground. But he spends most of his time floating, so it can be difficult to get hits on him. So if I was doing okay, and oh sweet, I got him on my well, technically my second try, because I did die. But I did get him on my first real try, so I appreciate that. And we got the tornado. We got the tornado ability, which I might use like once in this next stage, and then we're never going to touch it again. So, we are heading to stage 4 right now, which is... They all have names. The only name I remember is the first stage, because that's just the Colosseum, and that's really easy. And I remember the last stage's name, but all of the other ones I really don't remember, because they're just, like, in the manual or something. So, I unfortunately cannot share that with you. I mean, I could, but... I don't feel like it. I'm busy actually playing the game, so yeah. This is where learning how to accurately fly and climbing onto the walls comes in handy. And this is also one of the reasons why the first thing that I went to was the Blockbuster. Because the Blockbuster is probably the most commonly used power-up in the game. There's a lot of breakable blocks, so we got that vial by doing that. And I'm probably gonna die before making it to the, I'm probably gonna die before making it out of this room, but, we can see. Oh, I don't get the coin. Again, I do want to collect money throughout the game. Money is very important, but it's important for the final boss, so I can buy, E-tanks for that. Until I get to the final boss, I'm not going to be buying anything. So, my hint for this game, if you're playing it on your own, is to don't bother wasting your money on anything other than healing potions. The spells are useless. There's some minimal utility to like the spells, to the potions that can like make you leave a stage early, but you can do that by death warping anyway, so it's not really that necessary. There's a potion that kind of acts like an auto revive, but you get more health for your money if you go for the full revive and then just in using it before you die than you do by trying to go for the auto life. Anyway, if you jump down into this tornado here, we actually find a hidden boss, and it's the Griffin again. We're not going to be seeing him again until the end of the game, thankfully, but we do fight him multiple times, so we're going to be dealing with him for a moment. Steven, do we have another donation?
I just checked. Not yet.
Okay, no big deal. What is our total at the moment?
Let's refresh. Our total is $11,266.
Okay, so we are less than $250 away from getting me to fight the Dark Demon, the very, very difficult super boss at the end of Demon's Crest. So if you want to see me do that, then we only need $250, less than $250 in order to get me to do that. So I would really want to show that off to you guys because he's obnoxious and terrible, and I'll probably get very annoyed. So if you want to see that, then you should throw money at this game. Okay, I guess it's like the one part in the game where they expect you to use the tornado. You can create these temporary little platforms for them, but this is going to become obsolete in like literally after this one stage. So it is probably one of the least useful things in this game. No, I'm sorry, that's a lie. There's one other ability in this game that's less useful, because looking at this right now, I do have to use it in order to get past this section right here, but we're never going to need to use it ever again. So, and there's one other thing which never has any utility, so that's worse. But after this one room, we're never going to see it again, so it is not very good. I believe once we go down here, we will find the crown crest. Let's check that. It's in one of these statues. Oh wait, I forgot to do the minigame. Oh yeah, we just got the crown talisman. What that does is that increases our chance of money drops from enemies. We are keeping that equipped just so that we can make our money situation a little bit easier and avoid the need to grind at the end of the game for money, because we will need money for full heals, and I don't want to spend too much time grinding for that money. So yeah. Anyway, if we go all the way up here, there's a hidden scroll. So yeah, you need to get all the scrolls and all the bottles if you want to go for 100%. So, and get the best ending. So you will need to do that if you want to see the true final boss and even get the code to fight the Dark Demon anyhow. If I remember, do I have anything? No, I don't have anything I can equip to make this easier. Okay. So speaking of Reef Peak bosses, look, it's Arma, but he's green this time. Nice to see you again, Firebrand. There shall be no mercy for you this time, except for when I leave without killing you after you win in the fight. Okay. This is
The story of a girl. What?
This is... The final Arma fight's harder, but this one is tricky as well because he's got more health, he's got more moves. I think he does more damage. Yeah, those fireballs do 2 damage, which is still a lot for this point in the game. Especially considering that we do not get the defense up Crest until after we beat him. So, it'll be a while. Normally I would have 1 more dot of health for this, but I forgot to do the minigame before this, so we'll be doing this after. Okay, good. We got him to the second phase of the boss fight, which is actually a lot easier because instead of flying around in the air as much, he starts summoning these tornadoes. The tornadoes are pretty easy to deal with. They will, if you get caught up in one, it won't do any damage, but it will bring you up into the air, which doesn't really do much. So, it's supposed to, like, disorient you, but it's really not all that bad. Come on, come down. Yeah. Really, all the tornado move does is just give you a chance for free hits. Or, in that case, right there, it allows me to actually dodge them more easily. Come on. He should only be a few more... There he is. There we go. Okay, can it be? My whirlwind move has been defeated? What are you? Goodbye for now, Firebrand. Yep, that is totally the lack of mercy you are showing me right now. So anyway, we get the tacky pink crest, which allows us to have the aerial gargoyle. Guys, we can transform into a gargoyle. Isn't that fun? I will show that off in just a moment, but before I forget, we're doing the minigame.
But I want to transform into 2 gargoyles.
Sorry. If you actually look at the map right now, there's this pond that's hidden like a crescent moon. If you go there, you unlock a secret minigame. Now, this minigame is the hardest part of the game. So, to save us some time, I am going to be creating a restore point. This is the, well, actually, I'll probably create another one so that I don't have to, go through the dialogue again. Okay, get ready. Here we go. This is, there's only one other point in this game that I will use the restore point for, and that will be the Dark Demon. Just so that I don't have to grind for potions again if I lose. This minigame is obnoxious. What you have to do is headbutt these skulls. I believe it's 20 skulls before the time runs out. That doesn't sound that bad, but the thing is that the headbutt has a very large delay. And so, what that means is that you have to become very good at timing when you're supposed to do the headbutts at different points for the skulls. The first time I played this game, I spent an hour, no joke, just on this one minigame. And thankfully, it seems that I'm doing decent this time. No. No. Ah, damn it. Okay, that was actually a good run. We are probably going to be here for a while on this minigame. I'm hoping to get it done before... I'm hoping to not have to spend too many tries on it. All the skull placements are all random. The hardest ones for me to hit are the ones in the middle and the second to the bottom. I just have a hard time learning the timing for pressing the A button on those. The easiest ones for me are obviously the ones on the ground, because all you have to do is press A on the ground. That's easy. And the ones on the top, because all you have to do is press the A button on the peak of your jump. But for these ones on the middle and the second to close bottom, the hitbox is always so weird on them. And did I get it? This level may be too... No. It is not too difficult for me. I can do it. Now, he says to practice on a lower level. There are 3 difficulties for this minigame. Practicing at the lower difficulties actually isn't very helpful, because on those difficulties there's only 1 skull. So you're not practicing really the way that the minigame's intended to be played. You're supposed to think about which skull will be easiest to do out of the 2 that you have available, or which one's closer between the 2. It's not super beneficial to waste your time and money on the lower levels to this minigame. I mean, if you're good at them, you can get some cash by doing that, but the only reason we're doing this minigame, we don't need the money. We'll get plenty of money just by doing the stages. Nope. Okay, I lost. We'll get plenty of money by doing the stages. We're not worried about the money. What we want is you get a health up for beating this. So we need that in order to get the best ending. So we have to do this. There's no getting around it. And the only reason I'm using a restore point is just to make it so that I have infinite attempts. This does cost money to play the game. You do occasionally get random money drops from skulls, but you'll very rarely earn enough money to play another round. Earn the same amount of money, I should say, in one round to pay for your next one. And even if you do get money drops, it's often unadvantageous to go for the money, because the money will often be out of the way, and you need every second you can get to in order to win this. Like, you can't waste any time going for coins. It's that drop. So, you need to be on top of your game at all times with this. It's the hitbox. It's very... Sometimes you think that you will hit and you don't. Sometimes you think you shouldn't have hit and you do. It's not... It doesn't feel consistent, and it's hard to practice. Okay. Since I whiffed like 4 times, I probably just lost right there, so no reason in wasting time letting that run go out.
We have quite a few more donations.
Awesome. Read those out, because I'm going to be here for forever.
Well, now I don't want to.
Oh, you jerk.
We got a $5 donation from JDayX116, who says, "Dear great Uncle Smoothies, please make sweet, sweet love to me since my girlfriend left me and I am available." Well, I'm more expensive than $5, JDay, but thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much for your donation, dude. We appreciate it.
Ted doesn't know what to say.
I know, to thank people for their charity, no matter how desperate they are.
Oh, well, yes, wanting to do anything like that with me would just be considered charity towards me. Silver Striker donated $5 and said, "Hello all, donating again. I will admit I didn't exactly want this playthrough on BSC, but listening to it here makes me want to watch it a bit more, especially since Ted is super knowledgeable of this game. Put this money towards the Palutena raffle because my pet needs his goddess to worship. I don't ever play as her, but still."
Well, Palutena's pretty bad in Smash, so I can't blame you for that. But I'm glad that I made you a little bit more interested in the game. This is one of my favorite SNES games, and it's just kind of the way I roll. When I like a game, I try to learn about as much about it as I can. So, you know, I really like this game, and honestly, in order to find some of this stuff, I did need to do honest to God research. Like, I didn't know that the Dark Demon was a thing originally. I just thought that, you know, you just got the better Gargoyle for doing that password. I didn't know that there was a special boss that you could fight using it.
Okay, there's a $10 donation from Xanthosus, who says, "Hey Ted, I love you. Out of curiosity, are you planning on going to any conventions in the Midwest anytime soon? I'd love to see you in person, but I'm not really able to travel too far. Put this donation to Mega Man X6.
In the Midwest, unfortunately, no. I do not get the ability to travel very often, and I do not live in that area. I live in the Boston area, so I can't say that any donations in the Midwest will be happening anytime soon. Thank you so much for your donation, though, and thank you for, it's flattering to want to hear that people would want to, meet me and stuff. It's always, whenever I go to a convention and people want to talk to me, or especially when they want me to sign things, it's always super flattering, and it really does make you feel good that what you're doing on the internet actually does manage to brighten people's day and make them feel better and all that sappy junk. So thank you so much for your donation, and I really appreciate it. I love you too. Was that the last one?
No, one more from Ian Bow, who donated $25. Or is it Bow? I think it's Bow. I don't know. Ian wrote, "Please put the 25..." Oh, sorry, he donated 25. He says, "Please put the $25 into the Nintendo Switch raffle. Also, Ted, I would like to ask, what Dragon Quest game would you recommend to an RPG fan? I've tried Dragon Quest IX, but it is my least favorite RPG I've ever played. Due to the tedious battle system, lack of a good story, the bad guys coming out of nowhere, the unsatisfactory ending, The less than stellar soundtrack, no interesting characters, uninteresting world, the lack of a personality in the main party members, and the fact that half of the game's content is on disc DLC that is now defunct. But I digress. I've been watching you guys for years, and I will try to donate more later. Do you remember what his original question was?
A Dragon Quest game that's good for RPG fans. Like, I know that you might not appreciate, I mean, I'm playing through Dragon Quest IX right now. Like, I mean, it's not the best Dragon Quest game by far, but it's certainly not the worst RPG ever made. Try 5, I think. If the lack of a story and characters was what bothered you, then I think Dragon Quest V would be a game that you would like a lot more. It's very similar to Mother 3. Or I should say Mother 3 is very similar to Dragon Quest V, because Dragon Quest V came out in like 92. So, but they have similar themes. So if the lack of a story in Dragon Quest didn't do much for you, then 5 is probably where you should start, I would say. That's one of my favorite games of all time. I love Dragon Quest V. It is a beautiful, beautiful game, and it can make you cry, I guess, is the thing about that. Like, if you didn't care about the bad guys in 9 or any of the characters, like, Dragon Quest V is a game that has fantastic characters, and you can have monster friends, and it's just so good. So I would recommend 5 if you like other RPGs but weren't sold on Dragon Quest IX. And did I lose again? Damn. Yeah, when I said that this is the hardest part, this is probably harder than the Dark Demon, I would even have to say, is this minigame right here. It can take forever just to... no, I lost right there. You have very little room for error if you're going to play this, if you're going to try to beat this minigame. You pretty much only get like a couple of whiffs if you want to play this. It's what my strategy is to basically ignore as many that are in the areas that are in the rows that I have trouble hitting as possible, and focus on focus on ones that are in the top, second to top, and bottom row, because I know that I can hit those. And as long as I focus on those, I'm not going to whiff as much, and so I'm much more likely to not lose. I might have actually won there. This level's too difficult for you. Screw you. Trio the Pago. Whatever the hell your name is. There. Okay. You see, when I did my practice run, I actually got this within like 5 attempts. So, the jitters are starting to get to me. It doesn't look... I should stress that it doesn't look... I know it doesn't look that hard, but there's a delay to pressing the button and Firebrand actually headbutting the wall. And that delay while jumping. And you never, in the main game... In the main game, there's only one part where you have to headbutt something in the air, and it's a much bigger target than this. So, this is never a skill that you have to do... Oh, sweet, I won. Complaining about it made it easier. Awesome. Okay, there we go. We get a health upgrade for that, and I mean the one specific health upgrade that we got there doesn't really make it worth it, but we need it for 100%, and we need it to fight the true final boss, so we're gonna have to deal with it. Anyway, this is the aerial gargoyle, or as the thing says, oh, never mind, the actual pause screen says aerial gargoyle, but when you get it from Arma, it just says, now you can become a gargoyle, which is awesome. Which is what you already are. Anyway, what this lets you do is this lets you gain height, basically. You can fly. So, unlike the fire gargoyle, which allowed you to, where when you hovered, you couldn't gain height at all, by pressing the A button as the aerial gargoyle, you can gain height. It's a little bit weird, like you'll gain height and then you'll stop. And you'll have to press it again, so it's not the best control ever, but it is very, very useful. We're going to be using... I'd say this is probably aside from the legendary gargoyle, which ends up just essentially being a replacement for the regular gargoyle, aside from the legendary gargoyle, this is probably the one that this is going to be the transformation we're going to be using the most. Especially since its ability, its projectiles do more damage against some particularly tough bosses, and we're going to want to take advantage of that. Like right here, actually. This guy is also creatively named the Flyer, because he flies. They did a wonderful job translating this game, and you should praise them for their hard work. He's pretty easy though with the aerial gargoyle. All you really got to do is hit him in the head, and he goes down pretty quickly. If you don't have the aerial gargoyle, the fastest way actually to take him out is to stand on his back, which those small connection things right there, I was standing on them. You can stand on them without taking damage. So you can pot shot him in the back of the head like that, but you do much more damage with the aerial gargoyles attacks. And this boss, with each piece individually burning, causes a lot of slowdown. Anyway, here we get the claw ability, which allows us to climb up of spiked walls. But unfortunately, it's come a long way down since the original Gargoyles quest, where it was easily the best one in the game, best move in the game, and now it's easily like the worst. You never need to use it at all. So that's sad. Anyway, as you can see here, beating all 4 stages unlocked 2 extra stages. But we're not going to go to stage 5 first. We are actually going to go to stage 6. And this will allow us to get the legendary gargoyle transformation, and thus break a lot of this game. But first, we need to fly all the way up here and get a hidden bottle. That is 4 out of the 5 bottles. So we're almost done with collecting all of those. That was the one bottle I missed during my practice run, so I made sure to remember where that is. If I do miss something, it shouldn't take too long for me to backtrack it, since when you know what you're doing, most of these stages don't take all that long. And there's a very, very helpful guide that I can take a look at to find all the hidden things. Anyway, this stage is a little bit obnoxious, but it shouldn't be that bad. We have the aerial gargoyle, so if you're trying to do this without the aerial gargoyle, I can imagine that the claw would actually be somewhat useful, but we don't really need it, so it's not that big of a deal. If we go in here, I believe there's another health power-up, so we're going to go and grab that real quick. If I wanted to, I could break every single one of these blocks for more money, but that's a waste of time, so we're not going to bother. What we are just going to do is get this health power-up, and I'll break a few, because extra money is never a bad thing, but we're already at 120. We're already at almost 200, and I think we need, how much do we need? We need about 700 gold at the end of the game in order to get in order to buy all the potions we'll need. If I need to do a little bit of grinding, it won't take long with the crown crest, and we just got 100 gold right there. So that'll, oh, okay, we got about 100 gold there, so we'll be fine. One sucky thing about this area, though, since it is the ice level, even the walls have ice physics, so when you're grabbing on them, you will slide and slip and all that. So the aerial gargoyle obviously makes this a lot easier. So I guess this isn't really a platformer anymore as a fly former. I don't know if that's a thing. Whatever. Flight sim. Demon flight sim.
Wah, wah.
Okay.
So it's like playing Tails in SA1.
Yeah, basically. You don't have to play the game. So anyway, I hope you guys liked that boss that we just fought, because we get to fight him again! Yay!
Ted, what time do you expect to beat this game today?
I would say 11. What time is it now?
11.
11? Okay, we should be done before. If we don't fund the Dark Demon, we should be done before midnight. Unless if I die a lot. I would say midnight or earlier if we don't fund the Dark Demon, which I would like to fight if we reach 11,500. If we do fight the Dark Demon, that could take me up to another half an hour because he's hard.
Alright. We just got a $5 donation from Robobot Ted, who says, In my opinion, if you can't get into the Dragon Quest series, you should try playing Pokemon Gen 4, Faker.
No. Thank you for your donation, but no.
Thank you, Robobot Ted, for that.
Okay. Ow.
Head, because Gareth's computer has famously been acting awful lately,
Uh-huh.
I'm curious. Oh, it sounds like you have something you need to say.
Oh, no. Go right ahead.
All right. I'm curious if instead of starting another stream after this to announce today's Amiibo winner,
Okay.
if instead, maybe when you're done with the game, we hop on Skype, I go on webcam, and we do it through your computer.
That could work, I think.
All right.
Have you guys are still having trouble figuring out how to fix your streaming issues?
Oh yeah, I know it's his processor. His processor is it's 9 years old and it's crapping out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It picked a great time to do that.
It picked the perfect time to do it.
It's like it didn't even do it like right at the beginning of Platformania. It did it like after the first day of Platformania because it worked fine on Saturday. So yeah, way to go, Gareth's computer.
Well, it didn't exactly work fine on Saturday because it played 7 Granddad like ass, and that's a NES emulated game, and I don't know why it did that.
Okay. I mean, granted, maybe the computer's in its death thrall because you made it play 7 Granddad. It's just
yeah.
Why? Why would you do this to me? Okay. So anyway, this is the last time we're going to be seeing the darkness gimmick in this game.
Parents.
No parents. Although one thing I love about this game is that these oil guys, if you can, they have different death animations depending on how you kill them. Like I hit them with the fire, specifically the fire attack, and they burned to death. And if we kill them with any other type of attack, they will just kind of do a traditional explosion. So like, hold on, I'll kill. Yeah, like they die in a different way, and I find that really cool. There's a lot of detail put into this game's graphics. Get out of here, bats. There we go. Anyway, it's a little bit dark over here at the moment, so I apologize, but if we break this, we unlock one of the most important talismans in the game. This is the armor talisman, which rather predictably will double our defense, and that's going to make certain boss fights a lot easier. So we're going to be taking it, at the moment we don't need it, so it's not going to be equipped, but once we get into boss fights, until we get the whenever I go to boss fight, whenever we get to a boss fight later in the game, we will be equipping that, and that will make things a lot easier. I don't know if I could beat the upcoming boss, the boss coming up right now. I don't know if I could beat that without using the armor talisman. So, I mean, I did do it on my first playthrough, but I also found this. We're doing this stage very, very early for when we're supposed to. The game kind of expects you to find some of the hidden pathways in the earlier stages beforehand, and we skipped as many of those as possible. So, okay. This is Arma again. I know it's been like 5 boss fights since we've fought something new. Don't worry, we'll be fighting new things soon. This is the last fight with Arma, so don't worry about that. And he does take more damage if we use the aerial gargoyle. So it will, it's going to take a while because he's got a lot of health. But we thankfully can hit him a little bit more easily now because since we can fly, when he's hiding up in the top of the screen, we can go up there and shoot at him. So it's not like we have to wait for him to come down every single time, which makes the entire thing much more manageable. And if he's just going to keep on gliding at me, then that'll make things ridiculously easy. There is, this boss fight has 3 phases, unlike, essentially. There's this, oh, crap. No, he's got 2. He can use the whirlwind move from the second fight if he feels like it. But when he starts doing these, like, these crescent-shaped projectiles, that means you've got at least half of his health down. They do a lot of damage, though, even with the armor. So this is one of the harder boss fights in the game. Thankfully, they're not too hard to dodge. You're just punished a lot for getting hit. Sorry. There we... Okay, good. First try, and I only had half my health. Okay, that went much better than I thought it was. My power is now yours. Let me seal it in the crest. So, he gave up pretty quickly, I guess. But yeah, with this crest, we now get the legendary gargoyle, which we were supposed to get way earlier, which we were supposed to get way later. So what that does is it gives us essentially double health, pretty much, and a stronger attack as well. So it is pretty boss. We're going to equip it right now. But you can see there's this empty spot right here. That's where the sea gargoyle is supposed to be. And we're supposed to get that first, but we didn't because we're awesome. The only downside about the legendary gargoyle is that his shots only, he can only have one fireball on screen at a time, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's, when you consider all the other benefits, it's easily worth it. It's not even a, like, the only gargoyle in the game that's better is the ultimate gargoyle, and you get that as a reward for 100% completion. And it's pretty much necessary to beat the Dark Demon, the super boss. So, in terms of normal gameplay, the legendary gargoyle is where it's at. You're gonna want to be there as much as possible. There are certain areas. The one thing about him though is that you cannot gain altitude using him. You have to use the aerial gargoyle to do that. You also can't dash with the legendary gargoyle, but you can headbutt like this. So it's essentially, you should never go back to regular Firebrand after you get this. It is just better. So yeah. His also, just so you're, in case you're curious, his shots do count as blockbuster shots, so you don't even have to go back to that or anything. He's just OP, and it's awesome. You can't do any of the, like, the claw stuff, but you don't need it, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, you should only be the legendary gargoyle, except for when you need to be the other ones. Yeah. Okay. Ow. So now that we have the legendary gargoyle, the remaining parts of the game are going to go by super quickly. Basically, what's going on is that we've got this overpowered form, and we're going to be using it to beat all of the easy bosses in the game as quickly as possible. So, a lot of these bosses, when you try to use them, when you try to fight them in the parts of the game where you're intended to, they can be pretty tough, and you can die a lot. But once you upgrade your gargoyle and get the legendary gargoyle, it's really not even a challenge. This guy though could still kill me. This is Greywan, I think his name is, and he is pretty tough because he's got a lot of invincibility frames. Whenever he turns green, he's invincible, and he does a lot of damage. So I think I'm like one hit away from killing him though. So nah, he thankfully doesn't have a lot of health, but he can kill you pretty quickly. So that's one of the harder bosses left. The rest of them are not even going to put up a fight. There we go. Okay, so unfortunately we will have to backtrack through the area, but it's pretty small, so we won't have too much trouble. With the I should mention, with the defense on and the legendary gargoyles added health, we essentially take each of our bubbles is worth one normal bubble that it would be in the beginning of the game. So that's pretty sweet. We're going to be taking advantage of that a lot in the future, actually. We've got a few more. We've actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we do have, we're doing a little bit of backtracking next, and we're going to be taking advantage of the added health from the legendary gargoyle pretty soon, all things considered. I'm actually hoping... Okay, yeah, cool. We can just stand inside of him and smash the fire button. That's not going to be the first time we abuse that strategy, for the record. Anyway, we got the Demon Fire. This is the most powerful fire in the realm. I believe it might actually do more damage than the legendary gargoyles' Fire Breath for some enemies, but you can't have the extra health. So we're not going to really be using it ever.
Oh, Ted.
Yo, what?
Got a $150 donation from Daniel R.
Ooh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Daniel says, "Hi Ted, donating again because you will show us this game's Super Boss, even if I have to make you do it. Did you show it off in your run for Brain Scratch? I don't remember. Fuck it. Well, we'll see it tonight anyway. And put this donation towards Mega Man and Base because apparently I haven't bankrolled that side of the bid war enough as it is."
Thank you for your donation, man. That is crazy awesome. Yes, I did indeed show that boss off for Brain Scratch, and it took me like an hour. So I'm hoping that I do a little bit better this time. We'll see if I actually do better.
You said doo-doo.
I'm funny and immature.
But that leaves us at $11,466.
Oh, so we still need $34 if we want that to be met. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm sure we can do that. We've got a good amount of game left. I've got a lot of backtracking left to get done. So
Only $34.
Only $34. That's 7 donations. We can do this, guys. You can totally do it. Anyway, you're supposed to use the sea gargoyle in order to get these things hidden under the water, because going in water is dangerous to demons for some reason. So you'll take damage just standing in there. But we've got so much health now that we can just pick up both a bottle, which I believe is the last bottle in the game, and the hand talisman, which allows us to have 1 extra projectile on screen. That sounds better than it is. You're generally better off either increasing your defense or using the last talisman, which we won't be getting until the final level, actually. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be using the hand talisman at all, which is sad. But it's okay because the talisman that we will be finding afterwards is way, way better. And I'm not listening to my own advice and using Blockbuster instead of Legendary Gargoyle, so...
But Blockbuster is dead.
Yes, it is dead, but we're in hell right now, so we can still find it.
Oh shit, that's right.
Okay. How are we doing on money? Yeah, okay, we're pretty good on money. We need about 700-800 gold in order to buy all the health the health potions we need at the end of the game. So we will be A-okay when it comes to that.
Crown King, we did add some games. We just haven't added it to the schedule yet. Nathan is our website guy, and he hasn't gotten to it quite yet.
He'll get to it. We'll get to it soon, though. What we did add was at $1,200. We are going to be doing. That's the race, right?
Yep.
Okay, so at $1,200 on the final day, we are going to be adding a Super Mario Brothers Death Race. So it's basically whoever goes the farthest, the fastest wins. So either the first person to beat the game, or the first person to go the farthest without getting a game over is the winner. And so that'll probably be fun. It's a warpless race too, so it's not going to be over in like 5 minutes. So don't worry about that. And at $1,500, Johnny is going to do a platinum relic run of Stormy Ascent, the new Crash Bandicoot DLC. Actually, I'll show off the Demon Fire just so that I can say I did, because I do need to light these torches in this area.
One thing I want to mention is that those will be going in front of Sonic Mania. So those 2 games will start at 2, and then Sonic Mania will start afterward.
Yeah, so Sonic Mania is still going to be the grand finale of the stream. So don't worry about that. If anything, it'll give John a chance to... Well, actually, no, he won't get a chance to practice because he's going to be in the race anyway.
Poor John. He just wants to play that game so bad.
No.
Well, you know what? He might be able to play Sonic Mania before we get to anything because we don't start till 2.
We don't start till 2. Although he has said that he's going to want to practice Crash, so he might want to find time to put in for that practice before that day. So yeah, but I haven't played. I don't own the Crash Insane trilogy, so I've never played it, but I've seen footage of it, and it does look pretty obnoxious. So yeah, has anybody in chat been able to get that platinum relic? I mean, probably at least one person. Did you play the game, Steven?
No, I haven't played. I've never played a Crash game in my life.
Oh, me neither. Awesome.
So
Okay.
awesome to not have played Crash.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that on pure Crash Bandicoot.
When it comes to Crash Bandicoot, I'm straight edge.
Okay, get stupid hands move. Okay, so yeah, I think this area is intended to be like the first area you go to, like the second level you go to in the entire game, and we're doing it almost last. So there is a good reason to do some of these areas a little bit earlier, because for example, there was a health power up just hidden right there, which would have made a life a little bit easier if we had gone for it. We get a health power up for beating the boss, so that would be nice. But it's really just not needed once you get if you can beat the bosses without it. And now that sounds really obvious now that I'm thinking about it, but the reason why I waited is because this boss is actually pretty tough if you're just trying to fight him with the ground gargoyle or the regular gargoyle. But if you've got the legendary gargoyle, you can just stand here and mash the button, and he's done in literally 5 seconds. You don't even have to try. And then we get another health orb. So that's awesome. So that's stage 2 down. We will have to go... The town is technically part of stage 2, so we will have to go back there. But we don't have to go back to that stage ever again. And now I think we're back... Oh yeah, now we have to go to stage 5. Finally, you go in this route that I like to play in. You go in a really roundabout order. This is the water level, but we are not going to be doing any water things right away. We have to play this level in order to unlock the sea crest first. So we're gonna have to do the land route beforehand. Thankfully, it's not that with the legendary gargoyle. It is not hard. Again, this game is challenging on a first playthrough, I would say, but it's very easy for the main campaign, I should say, it's very easy to break if you know the right way to do things. So, that's why I generally would consider, a lot of people would think that Gargoyles Quest 2 is the easiest game. I would say that as long as we're not counting the Dark Demon, this is easier to me. But that's just my opinion, personally. How are we, you know what, our money is actually fine. I'm going to keep the armor talisman on, just for that extra bit of health. That'll allow me to do certain bosses even with even less trouble. That's how I wanted to say it. Fun fact, you can skip that entire section here if you know that this pit is here and by flying up. But I always forget to get that health power up to the right there whenever I do that, so I just go the long way. It saves me sanity, and then I also feel like I'm playing the actual level a little bit more, so it's really a win-win. Now here's another instance where the game kind of intends you to go back to the same level multiple times, because right here there's this boss, and you're intended to be chased by the boss and then you're supposed to go up this shaft that he reveals on a later visit. But if you just invincibility frames through the boss, then you can come up here on your first visit and avoid some backtracking. All it is a health power up, but you're going to want as many of those as you can get, so no reason to not get it now. I believe if you die, you can also go to the boss, which on a first playthrough you very easily could die, because he's one of the more annoying ones without the legendary gargoyle. If you died, you could always just go... I think you can go back through that shaft and get it there too. I think that is what happened, because I believe you do have to replay parts of that room. You have to replay the whole room if you die, and it's very easy to find it that way. But you don't even have to die if you just take the damage and you abuse invincibility frames. This guy's also disgusting. I don't know what he's supposed to be, but he's gross. Yeah, this boss fight probably took me like 20 minutes just to beat the boss on my first playthrough, but you do so much more damage with the legendary gargoyle. that you can take him down no problem. Like, I think we're gonna... Yeah, he's already down. That took like a minute, I think, tops. And for beating him, oddly enough, this is the only crest in the game you get from a random boss. You get all the others from Arba. So... Okay, sure, whatever, game. But now we're going to head back to the level we were just in. For the only time we're going to be... For one of the only 2 times we're going to be really using the title gargoyle in the entire game. The title gargoyle is completely useless on land, but he's also one of the only ways to go through water. So he's the most situational. Pressing the A button allows you to kind of stay at the same altitude. Otherwise, you have swimming controls very similar to the original Super Mario Brothers. So, thankfully, however, his shots do break blocks underwater, so that's helpful. But the swimming in this game isn't great. It's not the worst I've ever played, but it's certainly far from the best either. It's more just that you don't really want to bother going back to all the water areas just to get that stuff with the title gargoyle. So it is generally, and there's so few water areas in this game to begin with, that it's generally easier for many of the water areas to just try to get through them with a different form. So that's why in the second level, we go back with the legendary gargoyle, and just to take advantage of his obnoxious amount of health in order to get all of that stuff hidden under there. There's another level 3, I believe, also has some water sections that you can skip with the, that you're intended to use the title gargoyle for, but you can skip that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to need to skip it because I go there after. I go there later just to get the, just to take advantage. I go to that part of the level of the game late just to take advantage of the legendary gargoyle for the boss fight. So I already have the title gargoyle at that point, so there's really not any need to skip using him. It's just, at that point, faster to use him than to not use him. But it's going to be funny. There's only one boss in this game that's intended to be fought with the title gargoyle, and we're going to be using the legendary gargoyle instead. It's actually much easier to fight him with the legendary gargoyle as opposed to the the title gargoyle. So that's at the end of this section, and I'll show that off in just a moment. Yeah, this is one of those games that's hard when you're first playing it, but once you know what you're doing, it's not brain dead. You're going to need to try, but it's a fun kind of challenge. Learning that's one of my favorite parts about these kinds of games, is like learning how to play it the most effectively, learning how to, okay, what order should I do things? What should I use here? And it makes it, I find that to be a lot of fun, personally. So it's kind of weird that I like this game so much, but I've never really been a big fan of, like, I mean, not that I've disliked Mega Man, but I've never been a big fan of Mega Man, and like thinking what order I should do Robot Masters in. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I didn't grow up with him, I guess. Okay, so anyway, this is, I don't know this guy's name, but you're intended to use the title gargoyle and fight against his currents and whatnot, but it is legitimately faster and easier to just stand inside of his hitbox and mash the attack button as the legendary gargoyle. You have so much health and you take so little damage from the water, especially with the armor talisman on, that you can win this fight without even trying. Well, I mean, you have to try. He's actually being a little bit annoying with his currents and keeps on pushing me out of his hitbox. But I didn't even need to use the he's much harder if you try to fight him the legitimate way with the title gargoyle. I believe the currents don't affect you as much with him, and you can take care of his projectiles with that, but it's really not that big of a deal. And fun thing is that we can now walk around in water as a legendary gargoyle without taking any damage at all, because this game is weird like that. But anyway, we are actually almost done with the game, believe it or not. We only have 2 more stages left to go. We've got the revisit to stage 3 and then the final stage. So, Steven, do we have any new donations?
We do not quite yet.
Okay.
We still need about $34 to get there, though.
Yeah, we need, if you guys want me, the final bosses will take me about, I'd say about a half hour. What time is it now?
It is 11:26.
Yeah, so if I had to guess, we probably have about a half an hour left in the main game. So if you want to see the super boss, you've got about a half an hour, I'd say, to get your money in to seeing that. It is, I was going to say a fun boss to fight. It actually isn't. It's actually really irritating to fight. But if I've learned anything from this marathon, it's that you guys like watching people be miserable. So, yeah, you should, if you want to see me lose a whole bunch to the Dark Demon, you should get your money in. It's only $34. It's only $36. You said, or 34?
I believe 34.
34. Yeah, it's only $34. So that's, if 7 people donate, that's all we need in order to get in order to make that a thing. So if you've got the money to spare, we would all really appreciate it. Your generosity already has been outstanding. Like, you guys flabbergast me each year with how much money you're willing to donate to a good cause. So I just want to say that your donations are appreciated, not just by us, but by the people who are actually going to be helped by especially. And you guys make this all worthwhile every year. So I just want to give a sincere thank you to everybody who's been kind and generous enough to donate. And even if you're not able to donate, just watching, spreading the word, drawing memes, if you like doing that, all of that is also greatly appreciated. That's also, like, nothing goes unappreciated. Just because you can't donate, that doesn't mean that we don't want you here, or we don't appreciate what you do. So thank you guys all so much.
Apparently, Vinny from Vinesauce is going on right now.
Oh, okay.
You guys are apparently wanting to raid them?
Okay. Sure. I don't know what that really means though. So,
I recently learned about it too, Ted. It's apparently everybody goes to a different stream and just like sends the same message over and over, and they say what stream they're from, and then they come back.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just all in good fun. I think that's the point of it.
Okay. Sure. Tell them to come here though, because
exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So anyway, oh wait.
What should their message be?
Something Platformania for sure. Where the hell is there's the town. Okay. We're just about to go into the final area, so I need to go into the town now to stock up, actually. So this is actually probably about as good of a time as any to raid someone. Hashtag ban Ted.
Yeah, hashtag ban Ted. Why not?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So anyway, yeah, the final boss is, well, I mean, I'm sure it's possible to do without buying full heal potions, but I sure as hell can't do it. So we are going to be stocking up on ginsegs, which are essentially our think your energy tanks. They just give you a full health heal. There is, if you don't have enough money, there is a different potion that gives you a smaller amount of health. There's one that auto revives you, and then there's one that sends you back to the previous room, and one that lets you leave the stage entirely. I don't like either of those, so I never use them. But if you're low on money at the beginning of the game and you're not very good at, and you're still having trouble, the lower amount of health can be useful. And the auto revive does have some utility. I just personally, you don't get a full heal from that, so I prefer to use the full heals and just make sure that I use them before dying. So this is the final level, the Palace of Decadence. It's not all that bad, actually. The final stage isn't really the problem, it's the final bosses that can really give you trouble. Although these jesters are pain. They like to pass through the stained glass and whatnot. Thankfully, yeah, really, the stage itself is not all that hard. You're probably not going to die to this stage all that much. It's going to be the final boss that gives you the most trouble. But I should stress that you only get the hardest in the final form of the final boss if you get all the collectibles throughout the game. If you don't find all of the stuff, you don't get to fight the final boss. And, well, the true form of the final boss. You get a different ending. The endings really aren't all that different or interesting, but I like the extra forms of the final boss that you get for finding extra stuff. So I find that cool, personally. Okay, drop my heal. You might notice that I don't have full health yet. That's because one of the last health upgrade and the last health upgrade and the last talisman are both hidden in the final level. So we are going to be grabbing those actually in just a couple of seconds. The final health upgrade's at the top of this room. So we just need to flap our little wings and get up there. There we go. It is inside this bell. So this is the only time you ever have to jump and break something in the entire game other than that minigame. And you have to hit this very big bell rather than those tiny skulls. And there's no time limit or anything, so... Yeah, but with that, we've got our full health bar. And in this room, we're going to get our... we're going to find the last talisman, which is which is tied for the best talisman in the game. The armor talisman is also very, very good and very, very useful, but... this next talisman makes the final bosses so much easier. And particularly the Dark Demon. In the Dark Demon, you're actually swapping between my two favorite talismans over and over again. This is the Fang talisman. What this does is this doubles our attack power. So for the final bosses, I'm going to be equipping that. Right now, though, I am just going to be leaving the armor on just in case I run into any damage during the bosses, during the level itself, just to avoid having to take any, just to make things a little bit easier for me. But once we get to the final boss rush, well, it's not really a boss rush, it's more like a boss gauntlet. We will have to refight another boss, but thankfully it's not, it's just one. The 3 remaining bosses after that are all new. Yeah, see, this stage, there's really not much in this stage to challenge you. It's pretty tame. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now so our damage is we're going to be taking more damage now, but at the same time, we're also doing more damage to him. So I think our damage is doubled with the Fang Talisman, which is plenty of extra damage. Actually, we can leave it on because there's just boss fights coming up next.
Ted, I will be right back.
Cool. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Okay, so we are coming up to the final boss of the game. Phase 1, anyway. This is Phalanx. I've waited a lifetime for this moment, Firebrand. This is actually really, really cool. If you get the earliest ending in the game, he says something like, you're here quicker than I expected, Firebrand. And if you get the second ending, which is like, you've beaten all the stages but didn't collect all the things, he said something like, you've kept me waiting, Firebrand. And for this, when we get all of the things, he says, I've waited a lifetime for this moment, Firebrand. So I think that's really cool. You and I were destined to clash. And you, it seems, are destined to die. Sure, pal. Sure. Spooky skulls, yeah, whatever. So, Phalanx Phase 1 is pathetic. We are not in any danger of dying to him. So it's going to be actually really, really sad if I do die to him. And I'm probably going to get hit right here. He does do a decent amount of damage, I will give you that. With the Legendary Gargoyle, that's 4. But he also has no health. So, look, we're going to... And he also likes to, like... There. He took, like, what, 6 hits before dying? He's a wuss. So it's actually very possible to beat him if you're going for the early ending. Yes, you have the power I seek. The Crest of Heaven! They never explain why Firebrand had the Crest of Heaven, why Phalanx didn't use it any earlier. or anything. It just kind of appears. So, anyway, after this, loading. Well, it's not loading, but after this transition, is this all the skill you possess? Fight harder and die with honor. Okay, Phalanx Phase 2 is not too bad, but he can give you some trouble occasionally. I'm going to... Now, you might think, oh, there's water. I should use the tidal gargoyle. Don't. It's a trap. It's a trap devised by Satan. You are better off floating above the water, using the legendary gargoyle, and taking shots at him this way, and getting up to his level, his height, by using the aerial gargoyle. He goes down very quickly this way. If you try to fight him, if you try to play by his rules, then he's difficult. But if you don't, he goes down like nothing. You think you have destroyed me, but it was merely a shadow. Okay. Sure. And then he's gonna summon the power of Castle Grayskull. Cool. Finally, the ultimate power. Behold, the Crest of Infinity! They never really explain much about the Crest of Infinity, why it appeared now, any of that. It's like kind of half explained during the credits. Like, I mean, who cares? Really. There we go. So, this final boss is pretty rough. The first two phases of Phalanx, not all that bad. This final form can be pretty tough, especially if you don't understand how he works. Now the world stands helpless against my power. I need you no longer, Firebrand. You are now merely a nuisance. Die! So, in traditional Gargoyles quest fashion, he likes to cover his face, which is the only part that can do damage, that you can do damage to. So what you have to do is you have to kind of bait him to get onto the horizontal level of his face, and then shoot a projectile at him while he's about to shoot that giant laser beam. The thing is that it can take a while to realize that he won't ever shoot the laser beam if you're like hiding out down here. If you're hiding out down here, all he's going to do is send those little orbs at you and shoot the lightning. He won't ever do the laser attack. Also, you have to see the shot hit his face or it won't count either. So, yeah, this boss fight is pretty rough because of all those things. The orbs chasing you, the lightning, everything does a lot of damage. Actually, I should use my first health potion right now so that I don't die. I usually take about like 2 or 3 health potions in order to beat Phalanx. He's definitely not the hardest Gargoyles Quest boss. I would say Brieger from Gargoyles Quest 1 is harder. But he's certainly no pushover either, and he's only easier once you know what the trick is. Once you know that, okay, you have to wait on this horizontal plane in order to get the laser to work, in order to get him to fire the laser. Once you know that there's a way to bait the laser, then he becomes a lot more reasonable, because you can strategize. You can be like, oh, okay, I'm going to shoot and then drop down, or I'm going to shoot and then jump, or, you know, all that stuff. You can think about what you need to do a little bit easier. Also, you can shoot down the orbs. That also makes the fight a lot easier, is knowing you can do that. Ow. But if you're ever, like, stuck on the left side of the screen, like I am right now, you can be stuck... Ooh, I need to heal again. You can be stuck without... you can be stuck just playing defense and not even really being able to get a shot in on him, too. Thankfully, he doesn't have the most health ever. It's not really a problem of health, especially if you're using the Fang Talisman. It's really just a matter of he being... of not really having a lot of chances to do damage. If you're feeling gutsy, you can try to clip into his face and mash the attack button and hope that you get enough damage in before he kills you. I don't recommend doing that, because he does a lot of damage just by contact, and you can die even with all of your health potions. I know because I've tried it. And it's
hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. The other thing that makes it annoying is that the platforms are random. You don't get to know what's coming next. And if a platform at the top doesn't feel like spawning, or if like that an orb wants to just run into your shot and like block it from hitting his face, then there's not really a lot you can do about it. You kind of do get into a rhythm with it though, and it does get a little bit easier. Well, I guess you just get used to the motions you have to make, I suppose, a little bit better. Whoop. There. Oh, no, I missed. It's also, you don't have a lot of... You have to be pretty precise with your shots as well. Oh, damn, that was close. Okay. I was one hit away from dying, but we got him there. Cool. Okay,
Nice.
Okay, so we have... This ending sequence is about 5 minutes long. I will say, once we get to the screen, the end screen, I'm going to call it there. So we'll need to have raised that money by the time I see the end in order to, for me to do the Dark Demon.
Okay, that's cutting it close, but we might be able to do it.
Okay, have we gotten a new donation since?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Okay, so... Yeah, I will say that I love the ending music to this, the credits music, I should say. This scene is just, you know, your typical Castlevania, the castle's destroyed sort of thing. Next, I believe before we hear the credits music, Firebrand stands on the cliff and asks why Reploids must fight. I remember correctly. Or he can fly into the clouds, that works too.
What? You can fly in like a sort of 3D space?
Yeah, that's the map screen. The map's pretty small. There's only like a couple of hidden things to find on it, but it's neat. It does look cool. It's not like F-Zero though, where you can do a lot with it. Felix almost summoned the power of infinity, but he was destroyed by the power of Firebrand before it came under his control. Even though it seemed like he did have it under his control, whatever. With all the Crest safely in his possession, Firebrand mused over the power at his command.
Sonic Knight, no. No PayPal, sorry.
It would be a simple thing to use it to reign supreme, but in the end, Firebrand decided that his destiny lies elsewhere. So yeah, despite being an evil demon who wants nothing but power, Firebrand decides that he's just going to throw away the crests that will literally give him infinite power. I think the point, I think what they're trying to go for is that he's so prideful that he doesn't think he needs them, I suppose. I guess that's what they're going for, but I don't know, that kind of seems a little dumb to me when you could have literally infinite power and you're just gonna be like, nah, I'm good.
What is a gargoyle? A miserable pile of secrets.
And then Firebrand tosses his fruity pebbles off the cliff. Yeah, so this track right here, it's given a very grandiose name. The credits theme is called Memorial of the Fallen Ones, but it's such a great song. I love it to pieces. It's one of my favorite credits themes of all time. I think
we're buffering.
Oh, we're buffering? Oh, I did get I did get a handful of drop frames, but it does seem over now. Should have only been a couple of seconds, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one of my favorite credits themes. Well, it's not technically the credits. This game does one of those things where it tells you what all the enemies' names are, but you don't get to know who worked on it. So, yeah, that's a thing. And all of the enemy names are all mistranslated and pretty bad. Although nothing will beat the original Gargoyles quests translations. In that game, all of the demons were named after biblical demons, and they're all really, really terribly translated. Like, for example, Lucifer is now Rushafel, and It's pretty bad. The translation in the original Gargoyles Quest is not very good, but it's a fun game. So it's
Do you think,
uh,
do you think that was Nintendo, or what do you think that was?
I think it was. I think well, I think it was Capcom not being. I think there is some stuff that I think might have been Nintendo. For example, calling it Gargoyles Quest instead of I believe in Japan it's just called like The Legend of Red Airmare or something to that effect. They are more explicit that he's a demon instead of a gargoyle in the Japanese. And also the original box for the Gargoyles Quest, he's green instead of red. I don't know if that's just a US thing and if that was Nintendo not wanting him to be like too scary or something. He looks like very cutesy actually on the box to the original Gargoyles Quest, but I think
Was this before or after the ESRB?
I think this was right before, because this was 94, so this was probably right around the time of like Mortal Kombat. I know that the original two Gargoyles quests were like 91 and 92, so that was definitely before the ESRB. But at this point, it was Holothurion. Okay, that's a name for a demon.
Oh, we got some donations.
Yeah.
Ellie Abbott donated $35.
Oh, thank you.
And writes, pushing it over the edge.
Thank you so much. So it looks like we're dark demoning it.
And Ubi had the same thought. Also, I guess it's UBI, also donated $34, and they say, just giving that final push to watch our favorite streamers suffer. Speaking of suffering, put this towards Mega Man and Base, please and thank you.
Thank you so much for your donations. That should bring our total up to $11,535, which is a lot of money. By tomorrow, easily, we should be able to crack that 12K incentive and get that Super Mario Brothers Death Race. I know for sure we've got Derek and John lined up for that. I'm not sure who else is going to be available that day, but I think we want to have a 4-person race. That will be a lot of fun to watch. I don't think I will volunteer because I've never been able to beat the original Super Mario Brothers, so I would lose pretty much instantly. But yeah, thank you guys so much. After this, we will be fighting the Dark Demon. Unfortunately, that will mean when you beat the game, you're given a password, and you're supposed to enter that password into the game in order to unlock the Dark Demon. Thankfully, I don't even have to write it down. You can just reset the game, and the password's already entered into the password screen. So that's cool. The thing is that the game takes away all your money when you do that, and I'm not going to be able to beat him without a full amount of health potions. So I will be, unfortunately, having to do a little bit of money grinding, but that should not take more than a couple of minutes. So, especially since with the Crown Crest and the Crown Crest and the town area are both really, really helpful for money grinding. You can get it all done super, super quickly. But yeah, hopefully I get the Dark Demon down within not too many tries, and we can be in bed by 12:30 because I'm exhausted. Well, I'm not as bad as I was like after Rayman 2. I'm still doing all right, but I need to kind of catch up on my sleep because my sleep schedule. I have to imagine that your sleep schedule has probably been really messed up by this whole thing.
On average, I've been getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep each night.
Damn.
For this whole event, yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah, I hope that you can get more sleep now that we're starting to start at 2 p.m. throughout the week as opposed to 10. I'm hoping that helps.
Yep, I've been getting. Last night I got some more sleep, but also Benji had a bad night, so not exactly.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you sharing a room with Benji?
Yeah. What?
You sharing a room with Benji? Sharing the
No,
crib?
I've been in the basement, man. But I can still hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So the game really wants to hide this password because you have to sit through like an extra minute of the ending screen and the Capcom presented by screen, and like at this point, if you were a typical kid, you probably would have already turned your console off. But if you wait long
Yeah.
enough, if you wait long enough, they give you this. They show off this password, which thankfully we do not need to remember because the game automatically saves it. So we will be able to just reset the console and it'll already be entered into us. And
Oh,
for us.
nice.
Yeah. Okay. Were you about to say something?
No.
Nope. Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, see, it's already here. Um.
Cool. How long does this boss take you?
It depends on how lucky I get. I'm hoping it won't take me more than 20 minutes. Total. I will need to spend like 5 minutes money grinding though. First though, I should show off what we get. We get the ultimate gargoyle. Let me get the crown. The ultimate gargoyle is a really, really tacky shade of purple, but he can do everything. He can, well, he can't headbutt, but he can do the dash that the ground gargoyle can do. He can fly upwards like the aerial gargoyle, and he can swim. So he is basically just the best gargoyle in the game. However, he can't headbutt, and that's what I'm actually going to need to do in order to get money. I'm going to need 14 times 5 is like... oh god, I'm gonna need like at least 600 gold. So I'm going to be headbanging on windows and breaking pots until I reach that much. Thankfully, I do have the crown. Talisman. What that does is that increases the drop rate for money, so it will make it go by a lot quicker, especially if I get lucky and 4 big coins decide to break out of these windows. It's not super likely, but it's much more likely to happen once you equip that. And every time you enter a shop and come back out, all the windows respawn. So this is the easiest and fastest way to grind for money in the game. If you're having trouble in the main game, I recommend doing this to grind up any extra money. Crown Talisman and this will get you through pretty quickly. It will take a couple of minutes though, because you need to get a lot of gold. Ooh, there we go. That helps a lot. Every time we get 4 big coins from a window, that's like 80 gold, and that makes everything go by so much quicker. But this will take a couple of minutes because
Was the shopkeeper also a demon?
Yeah, everybody's a demon in this. This is like the only place with friendly demons. Like, for example, there's this guy right here, who will talk to you, and he's got different dialogue for every demon form you have. Hey, you're the one that defeated Phalanx, are you? I owe you my thanks because I did not like the laws we were forced to keep. No offense, but demons shouldn't have the power to rule. You know what I mean? Sure, pal. Whatever. Yeah, but we're in the ghoul realm, is that's what they call it. I think it's supposed to be like the demon realm, if you but it's hell pretty much. We're in hell, so everybody here's a demon, essentially.
Yeah, whenever I'm short on cash, I just smash my face into people's windows.
Yeah, that's so much fun.
It's a good thing everybody in the world keeps their money on the windowsill.
Yeah. It's a good thing that also, we're smashing it inwards, but the money flies outwards.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You can break each individual window pane here, but I really don't recommend it because you're less likely to get as much money from every one of those. Your big paydays are going to come through these big windows because that's where the chance of 4... you get a chance of 4 drops with that. What you're really hoping for is 4 big coin drops. I believe they're 20 apiece. Oh wait, I don't want to go in there because there's 2 more windows to break. Anything helps, pretty much, but we want those big coins as much as possible. We can already get, I think, 2... I think we can get 2 health potions. So, yeah. Yeah, we can get 1, 2, and we are 40, 28. We are about, like, 350 shy away from being done. So it does take a couple of minutes. I apologize for this, but I'm telling you right now, the money I spend grinding, we will be saved far, far more than by the amount of attempts that it would take to beat the Dark Demon without any health upgrades. without any health potions, I should say. It is next to impossible. He is obnoxious and not fun, so...
Are you going to save state before you get to him?
I am not going to save state during the fight, but I am going to save state before the fight, because if you use all of your potions during that fight, you don't get them back. So, to save us the time from grinding these over and over again, I will be save stating before the fight starts, but I will not be save stating during the fight, especially since that could probably screw me over anyway, since there's parts of this, well, you'll see, throughout the fight he creates spikes and it's obnoxious, so... Yeah, I will be doing a save state at the beginning of the fight, but that is just to save time. I am not save stating to make it any easier for myself.
Yeah.
It's similar to what I did for the minigame, I guess is the best way to put it.
Zachary, yes, we're about to fight a super boss. An optional super boss.
Optional super boss. Okay, we need 380 gold in order to... No, wait. 280. We need 420 gold, in order to get all of the... in order to buy 3 more potions. So... We are pretty close to done. We're almost... I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way done with our grinding. At the moment. And if we get lucky, it will be done. Unfortunately, it is dependent on luck. If we just have to kind of hope that big money drops come out of these windows. If we were to get a large coin drop out of the big windows, we would be very close to done right now. But it's really all just dependent on RNG. We can equip the Crown Talisman, which does increase the chance for money drops, but there's no real other way to influence it as far as I'm aware. Most speedrunners do not bother with the Dark Demon. They just consider beating Phalanx the true ending. Well, not the true ending. That's just the ending that they go for the most often. So it's not... The Dark Demon's really just if you hate yourself, pretty much. Okay, we are pretty close. Oh yeah, that helps. Come on, more big coins, more big coins, more big coins. Yeah, again, it is... if you want, you can break like every single one of these small windows, but you're not guaranteed to get any. You're not guaranteed to get any better cash from that. Oh, actually, no, I'm getting decent cash from that right now. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so we should be done with our grinding now. That's awesome. Okay, never mind. Break small windows. It's worth it sometimes. Okay. Okay, so anyway.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first. I was just going to say we're going to buy our potions.
I was just going to remind everybody that before I guess once we end this game, don't go anywhere, because afterwards we are going to announce the winner of today's daily raffle.
Awesome.
The Palutena amiibo. Yeah, so we're going to be doing that over a Skype call. So don't go anywhere. We're going to cut the stream, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to do the daily raffle. And then you can all go raid Mr. Vinesauce.
Yeah. Okay. So this is also your last chance to donate to get that daily raffle as well, because we're going to be done. We're going to be done pretty soon. With any luck... Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong gargoyle form. We need the ultimate gargoyle. Oh, now the game drops like 50,000 coins. Whatever. Okay. I see how you're playing. Anyway, this with any luck will be with any luck we won't need too many tries to beat the final boss here. So the super boss here, I should say. So this is your last chance to donate to the Palutena raffle. So I would get on that, because it's actually one of the better amiibo, I think, personally. Okay. Here goes. I actually took a point of... Wait. No, I can't cheese it. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I actually did take a point of damage, so, fighting this guy. So, as stupid and petty as this might seem, I'm actually going to kill myself right now to get a full heal. Like, you might be thinking, oh, that 1 point of damage, it's not going to mean much. Against this guy, trust me, it does. He doesn't look all that bad right now, but trust me, he is one of the most aggravating bosses I've played in a video game. So yeah, so we're going to retry. Okay, and now I'm going to be creating a save state. This save state is just so that if we die, I do not have to go back to the town to grind for money again. Yeah, so actually, let's set one of those potions right now. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not to make the fight easier. It's just to make it quicker.
yeah. So you can only hurt this guy on his head, and he does, but he's shooting those he's moving around and he's shooting those oh, I should say like the 3 heads on the top. That's the only part of this boss fight you can hit him. The problem, you know, if it was just his attack patterns, he actually wouldn't be all that bad. The problem is that stupid little flying orb that's floating around everywhere. What that does is that just always gets in your way. It'll cause you knockback, and it's what makes this boss fight so absolutely freaking ridiculous. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It just gets in the way all the time. And right now, he's in a different form. It's not even worth it to try to attack him in this form because he has added defense. So, wait. Okay, yeah. So chances are I will die to this boss a lot, even after using all 5 of my potions. So we're going to be here for, I'd say, a generous estimate would be about 20 minutes. It would take me. I would love to beat it quicker, but I'm going to guess that it'll take me 20 minutes. Ow.
Someone asks, how did you get your username, Ted?
Oh, okay, so, way back in the day, oh, I forgot to equip the Fang. Okay, never mind. Way back in the day, you know, we all have that moment where we first see, like, the AVGN or the Nostalgia Critic or whatever, and we think, I can do that. And so we do what any sensible 12-year-old will do, and take a camcorder and aim it at our CRT and do reviews of games while playing them with terrible scan lines, and it's awful. I did that, and I did that with a friend of mine. And at that time, we were going to do like a team review show. Like we were going to be together. His code name at that point was Bounty Hunter EX, and mine was Shadow. So because at that time, I had been in a Pokemon. Oh no, I did not mean to use my potion there. Crap. At the time, I was in a online Pokemon. It was basically, this was Gen 3 era, so there was no online battling yet. But there was this online Pokemon program that allowed you to play the game online, essentially. I was part of a guild there that everybody named themselves after Sonic characters, so I was Shadow. And that was just the name I went by on the internet for a long time. So we were going to do this team review show. Here's the thing. I did know how to edit using Windows Movie Maker, but I didn't know that in order to upload a video to YouTube, you could not just upload the Windows Movie Maker project file. You actually had to process it into its own video. I did not know this because I was 12 and really, really dumb. So, those videos have since been lost to the abyss of time, and no, I am not ever going to look for them, even though they might still be, some files for those might still be around somewhere, but I'm never showing it to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that YouTube channel. It was just called Exandshadow because it was going to be, you know, the team up between the two of us. But, you know, eventually, like, we couldn't get it to work, and, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, we just didn't, it never really went anywhere, I guess is the best way to put it. And so, I just used it as my own personal YouTube channel at that point. Like, I didn't really upload anything for quite a while, but I did use it to subscribe to channels and stuff. And when I did eventually decide to try the video making thing again on my own, I just kept the name because I already had the channel. So, yeah, that's basically how it happened. Not the most interesting story, but I think everybody can relate to, you know, oh, I'm going to take a stack of books, put a camcorder on top of it, and record footage of the TV. Because that's a great idea. I mean, no. I mean, I'm not gonna be the person to make fun of camcorder on the stack of books because everybody starts like that. Everybody starts with their camcorder book stacks or whatever. But it is just funny to see how far people come, you know. Because even like the AVGN's first video was, I think, one of the AVGN's first videos were camcorders pointed at a TV. So, you know, you might start off like that, but you can actually get somewhere by doing that. So don't ever give up on your dreams, kids, I guess is what I'm trying to say. God. Yeah, this is probably not going to be a successful run. I'm probably going to lose. See, what makes this boss fight even harder is that as the fight continues, he keeps on destroying parts of the ground, so there's less and less usable space as the fight continues. You can't stand anywhere, you can't wall cling. And with his erratic movement patterns and the orb that follows you when he's in the transformation where you can actually do decent damage to him. When he's in the form that he was just in right there, he actually takes half the damage, and it's really not even worth it to try to fight him at that point. Like, to do damage. You're just not going to get enough damage in to make it worth the hits that you'll inevitably take. So, yeah, I believe I'm out of potions, so I'm either out of potion, yeah, I'm out of potions, so I'm probably going to lose on this attempt. I mean, I'd love it if I didn't, but I do not, things are not looking up, so I might have to retry. I'm sorry that, but this is not an easy boss, so it will take, I'm expecting it to take a couple of tries, I guess is the way I'll put it. Or none of his shots could come close to me. That works too. I'll take the health I can get. See, like, look. Now the entire ground is spikes. I cannot stand anywhere safely in this boss fight. Come on.
The floor is lava to a whole new scale.
Ah, damn it. Okay. So yeah, if we were playing this on an original SNES cartridge, I could restart the fight, but I would have to
grind.
I would have to grind again, and that is no fun. So we are not doing that. I am putting a no thank you. Okay. Okay. I don't know how many... Oh, crap! Okay. I forgot to heal that time. Alright. Wonderful. I don't know how many shots it takes to kill him, unfortunately. So, like, I can't count and ration out my potions appropriately or something like that, but, generally, I just kind of go until I win, basically. I don't... Okay, you know what? If I take half a health bar of damage and don't even get a hit on him, that's not boding well, so I should just start over. His movement pattern is very erratic, so it's not easy to line up a string of clean shots on him. And the lower part with the 3 big skulls, that is all, he's invincible there. I can't hit him there at all. I have to hit his top half of his body. So, and again, when he's in this form at the moment, I'm always switching to the defense because it is legitimately not worth your time to try to even shoot at him at this point. You should just focus on dodging. Of course, it gets a lot harder to dodge these because it's easier to do it on the ground because your ground mobility is better than your air mobility. But when he's covering the floor in spikes, there's not much you can do about that. God, I don't, there is a chance that I just might not be able to beat him. I will say that. And, like, if we go much later than 12:30, I'll just call it a, I'll just cut my losses, but I do wanna fight and beat, I do wanna fight and beat him. We are going to try our damnedest.
You got people to donate, and you're gonna wuss out?
That is true.
Boy,
I just don't want to keep you. I just don't want to keep you and Gareth up all night so that you're.
Garrett's asleep.
Oh, Garrett's asleep. What? What's?
You think he's been here this whole time just being quiet?
I thought he was like doing something with the baby or whatever. He has one of those now.
Nah, he's sleeping.
What's? Okay. Okay. So, hopefully we don't take too long. I don't think any of the spells are even remotely useful against the Dark Demon, so I don't bother. Ow. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Man, when is that Spyro 3?
Spyro 3 is 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Dang.
Oh, damn it! I wasted a potion. No, wait, no. Is it 4 o'clock or... No, it's 4 o'clock because John's Castlevania starts at 2.
Yeah. Dang old Spyro.
Dang old Spyro.
So... I believe... Do you remember the amount that we have to raise in order for her to 100% Spyro?
At least 300, I think maybe 500. I think either is totally doable. So
I think 500.
I think 500 would be acceptable as well. I think
now,
that
there's a reason why it's not on the list, guys. That's because it has to be 500 total raised during the game itself. So let's say if we started off at $12,000, then we need to get to 12,500 for her to 100% it.
think of it kind of like what I did for Dark Demon, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, it's really and you know, we need to get that money in for that because Spyro 3 is a long ass game, and
yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it. But I know it is the longest Spyro game out of the first 3, right?
I'm loving the memes this year.
Ooh, did we get a meme?
Yeah, we got a meme. There's the Dolan version of me. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a face with some hairy legs.
Oh, I've definitely seen that.
Okay, yeah. It's just me saying need money, which is money. So I'm saying need money, and then the next frame is just me bursting through someone's window.
You know, if we could just break windows, we wouldn't even need to do a Platformania. We could just bust a city. We could just bust an apartment building and get 10 grand. No problem.
Yep.
We wouldn't have to play any video games.
And it's perfectly fine because we go inside a shop, come back out, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, window replacement in the Demon Realm is super fast. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, you have higher taxes, but you have non-broken windows.
People pay taxes in hell? What? No, of course they do. It is hell. Okay, never mind. Ow. Okay, this run, unless if I like win now, I'm out of potions. So yeah, okay. So that's 2 attempts at the Dark Demon. I think it took me 5 for Brain Scratch. So I'm hoping it will take less long this time. What's really annoying is, unlike the annoying orbs in the Phalanx fight, this annoying orb is there's no way to destroy it, and it's what it will knock you out of your position and keep you from doing damage to the Dark Demon itself. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt you all that much, but it's going to be very, very annoying. I'll just put it that way. Oop. It's weird. This boss doesn't look as hard. It doesn't look as hard as, say, Phalanx. I'd say if you were just looking at the footage, Phalanx probably looks harder, but this is definitely a harder fight than Phalanx.
You know, I would say this looks harder.
Okay. Maybe it's just the lava. It definitely looks harder once you realize that they're constantly deleting floor and replacing it with spikes.
Well, Also, the last boss you fought didn't really move around a lot. So it
Oh
was
no,
kinda
he
easy
was
to hit it.
very static. In this guy, he's got the constant figure eight pattern going. Okay. Okay, we're actually doing okay this round. We've been able to do a lot of damage. We were able to do a lot of damage in that cycle. I think we should be. I'm saying things are looking up. I'm not going to be cocky or anything like that, but I'm feeling good about this.
People are giving you the Shia LaBeouf pep talk.
Oh, awesome! I love Shia LaBeouf.
Make your memes come true. They're all saying, "Do it."
Do it. I can do it. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. I need to keep a bottle equipped at all times. You can't use a bottle unless you equip it. So, and once you use a bottle, it's empty. So I can't just like press the button over and over. I have to go back into the pause menu and re-equip my healing. So that actually did kill me once earlier. Okay, hold on. Oh, I forgot to equip the Fang. Okay, that's actually not the worst thing in the world if I forget to equip the Fang. The Fang increases my damage, so it's not the... I like to have the Fang equipped for when he's in the mode where you can do damage to him. In this mode, I think you can damage him, but not as much. You can only be hurt half as much. So I usually try not to bother, because trying to fly up there with his projectiles, they're going to hit you the most when you're on level to do damage to him. So I usually just try to dodge and keep the armor equipped for when I inevitably do get hit. Okay.
Ted, what got you into this series?
Our Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Firebrand was a playable character in that game, and I knew about Ghosts and Goblins. I actually knew about Ghosts and Goblins before I became more well-known in internet stuff, because when my sister was doing travel basketball, one of the places she would play was like a combination bowling rink, basketball court, arcade, and they had the original Ghosts and Goblins arcade machine there on free play, and I would play that all the time. I never got very far, but it was a lot. I had fun playing it. So I knew about Ghosts and Goblins, but when I heard about Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate, when they added Firebrand to Ultimate, I was like, that's the demon from Ghosts and Goblins. Like, what the heck is he doing here? And then I looked him up, and turns out he has his own game series, and I just legitimately did not know. And I was interested in checking it out, so I looked up some stuff about Gargoyles Quest and Demon's Crest. But I never knew anything about, I never got the ability to play them until they were added to the Virtual Console on 3DS. And that was only 2 years ago or so. So I've not been a fan for very long, but I just really got, these games really clicked with me once I did start playing them. Okay, don't transform. Oh, yes, I got him. That was actually quicker than I thought. I had a whole bottle left, too, so that's cool. I'm going to... Yeah, I got him.
Beat him?
Yeah, I got him. I beat him. And you want to know what your reward is? It's an almost identical cutscene on the cliff, and then you watch the same credits again, and then you're given a picture of Firebrand just kind of... Oops. Firebrand just kind of standing there. The credits in this game are long, at least 5 minutes, so I'm going to save you guys that trouble and look up the picture of Firebrand. Because I do not want to... I do not want to waste you. The credits are exactly the same. They are legitimately no different. So, hold on a moment. I am going to download the picture and then just add it to the and then just add it to the screen, because we've got we want to do that raffle, and okay, wait, sources, media file. Yeah, so give me just a moment. I will be able to put the. I'm putting the. You get a picture. That's it. That's the picture of Firebrand. You beat the game. You're given this picture. And I think it also says the end. It's very, very exciting. So yeah, the credits are otherwise exactly the same. So I'm not gonna force you guys to sit through those. But I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. This was a fun stream. I love Demon's Crest. Anyway, stay tuned. We are going to be back in literally 2 minutes, so we can do the raffle drawing. Okay, see you guys soon.
Bye.